Before it started. My wife, Lynn, and I have been together 6 years, married 11 months. Until recently, our life was boring in the safest way. Steady, affectionate, drama-free. No red flags, no odd habits. This entire thing is completely out of character for her. She's kind, sharp, and practical. She's never been childish or the type to scare me for laughs. She doesn't even enjoy horror. When we first dated, she tried The Shining because she knew I loved scary movies. She made it halfway before we had to switch it off. Creepy stuff, pranks, none of it is her. That's why this all felt wrong from the first second. She's also never had mental health issues, and there's no family history I know about. Maybe people can hide things for years, but in 6, I'm certain I'd have noticed something.
Part 2. The First Peek. 2 months ago, running late for work, I brewed coffee at home. Mug in hand, I sped down the hall and almost spilled it when I saw Lynn peeking at me from around the far corner. Only her eyes and a strand of long, dark hair showed. The rest of her body was hidden. The jolt burned my lips. "Geez, Lynn," I said, brushing coffee off my pants. "You scared the shit out of me." Like a child caught sneaking candy, she snapped out of sight and scampered toward the living room. By the time I reached the door, she was gone. Weird, sure, but I found it almost funny, playful. I shouted that I loved her and called her a weirdo. As the door shut, I heard her laugh. By lunch, I forgot it. That evening, she was her usual self. We didn't mention it. Life continued. Part 3. The Kitchen Floor. 3 nights later, around 2 a.m., I got up for a drink. Standing at the island with the orange juice, I felt it, the heavy pressure of being watched. I looked down. Lynn's smiling face was staring up at me from the far side of the island. Wide, unblinking eyes, a grin too big, Cheshire cat big. I screamed, not annoyed, afraid. At her scream, she skittered backward on all 4s, hands and feet slapping tile, and fled the kitchen. I didn't chase her. I stood there, cold as a nail in winter, wondering what had possessed her. Back upstairs, I found her in bed on her side, breathing slow and deep, asleep or pretending. I waited, expecting her to leap the moment I got in. She didn't. Part of me wondered if I'd imagined the whole thing. Morning came, I handed her coffee, kissed her cheek, kept my tone light. "What was that about last night?" She frowned, baffled. I pointed to the island. She followed my look, then burst out laughing, hard enough that I laughed too. "I creep you the fuck out sometimes, you know that?" I said. She hugged my neck and teased, "You creep me out all the time, so I guess we're even." We left for work like nothing happened, but I couldn't shake the sound of her hands on the tile. Part 4. The Game. After that, the peeking got frequent. From behind the couch, through the living room curtains, once from inside her grandmother's old trunk at the foot of our bed. I only noticed because the antique hinges groaned. The lid was propped just enough for half her face to show, beaming like an excited toddler. I stared, speechless. "Why are you doing this?" I managed. She said nothing, just lowered the lid and shut herself inside. I walked away, stomach sour. I didn't understand it, but she seemed happy. I prayed she'd get bored soon. 2 weeks of peace. One night on the couch, I joked that she must have given up her spy game. She looked over with a small smile. Maybe I've just gotten better at it. I said nothing. For days, paranoia bled into everything. Was she watching when I wasn't looking? From which corner? What did she get out of it? I felt stupid checking behind doors. After a few quiet weeks, I relaxed. I stopped checking.
Part 5. The shower. A few nights ago, while she was out with a friend, I gamed on my laptop, then showered around 9 p.m. Soap in my hair, eyes closed, that feeling returned. Awful and electric. I opened my eyes. Lynn's head was inside the shower, the rest of her body outside the curtain. Hair plastered to vinyl, dripping, eyes wide and red, smile stretched, makeup sluiced into 2 black rivers down her cheeks. She looked ecstatic and deranged. I screamed and slammed back against the tile. She didn't flinch, didn't blink. After a long, silent standoff, she slowly withdrew. Through the fogged curtain, I watched her blur glide toward the door. The bathroom slammed, the mirror rattled. I yelped again, jumped out, and locked the door. I paced for over an hour, ears pressed to wood every few minutes. Joke or not, I was done with this. Rage pushed through the fear. "What the fuck, Lynn?" I snapped at the door. "This shit is getting really fucking annoying." A faint moan answered, so soft I wasn't sure I heard it. Then silence. "Lynn?" My voice shook. Nothing. Drip from the shower head. Nothing. Eventually, shaking, I knelt to peer under the door. No feet. Empty hole to the stair top. I watched, waiting for her head to rise into view. It didn't. Hand on the lock, I exhaled and turned it. That's when the sound came. A moan, louder, inside the room. I turned to the closet. She was peeking at me through the slight gap. Eyes wide, mouth gaped in a monstrous smile. Hands clasped to her chest, body trembling with delight. A raw, rasping moan bubbled out, and ice toured my spine. I yanked the door open and ran. Down the stairs, grabbing keys and phone, bare feet slapping wood. Her shrill laughter trailed me, but I didn't hear her gaining. I didn't even close the front door. I hit the car, hair damp, boxes only, and drove faster than I should. I went to my brother, Chris's place, 40 minutes away. He and his wife Rebecca stared at me, half naked and shaking, but took me in. I said Lynn and I had fought. I didn't want to sound like a man who'd fled a prank. On the couch, I tried to sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the closet crack and her smiling face. She'd never left the bathroom at all, just slipped into the closet and slammed the door to trick me. Chris gave me a sleeping pill. My dreams were all Lynn, grinning.
Part 6. The Window. Just before dawn, I awoke with that heavy, eyes on me feeling. I stared at the ceiling, refusing to look. It got worse. My gaze slid to the window beside the couch. Her face was pressed to the glass, same enormous smile. Drool made 2 pale streaks down the pane. I didn't know how long she'd been there. My gut said, all night. Anger beat fear. I slapped the window. "Lynn, are you crazy? What the hell is wrong with you? Just go home, now!" She didn't move. If anything, her smile grew. Upstairs, I heard Chris and Rebecca stir. As if she heard them, her head twitched toward the sound, and her mouth slowly closed. "Ben?" Chris called, coming downstairs with Rebecca. I glanced back, then to the window again. She was gone. Only the twin drool trails remained. We checked outside, no footprints, just a slight dent in the dirt. "Animal," Chris guessed. I didn't argue. They chalked it up to a dream. I was too wired to convince them otherwise. I called off work and turned my phone off. The thought of speaking to Lynn felt impossible. I cried hard most of the morning. By noon, I told myself I'd give her one last chance if she promised to stop. I powered my phone and found dozens of texts. "Can we talk? I love you. Please call me. I'm really worried. Just come home." All concern, none addressing the things she'd done. Lynn can write a novel to tell me to buy bread. Now she had nothing to say about peering at me from a closet? I stayed another night. No face in the window this time.
Part 7. You saw her? Over lunch, Rebecca tested the waters. Is this mendable? I don't know, I said. She's like a different person. People change. She still loves you. She was so upset this morning, very unlike the Lynn I know. I froze. Wait, you saw her? Rebecca nodded. Just after Chris left. No car, maybe an Uber. What did she say? Did she come inside? No, she asked if you were awake. I offered to wake you. She said to let you sleep. That's all? That's all. She looked awful, like she hadn't slept in days. You should call her. Relief flickered that she hadn't come in, but I still checked the locks. I sat and tried to solve a problem that didn't have police-colored edges. What do you tell 911? My wife is peeking at me? She hadn't committed a crime, yet. I could try a psychiatric hold, but what if she acted normal? Doctors might release her in 72 hours. I felt useless. So I did the thing I didn't want to do. I called her mother. Part 8. Marianne. Marianne and I have never meshed. Cold woman. Thin smile that never reaches her eyes. Yes, she answered, already irritated. Marianne, it's Ben. Do you have a minute? I'm writing checks, but if you insist, what is it, Benjamin? It's about Lynn. She's been acting strangely. I wondered if it's difficult to follow your rambling. What do you want from me? Have you ever noticed anything odd? Any mental health issues? Silence. Then, if this is a joke, I don't find it humorous. I have business. Marianne, please, I'm sincerely concerned. Her behavior is erratic. I'm worried, and I thought you would be too. If you're truly concerned, involve health professionals. I don't know what you expect of me. Please, if not for me, do it for Lynn. A small, shaky breath on the line. Cracks in steel. Marianne, what? My advice is to seek professional help. Do not call here again. Goodbye. Click. I replayed her words until one phrase sharpened like a needle. Seek professional help. The urgency. Maybe she meant something other than doctors, but maybe I was just desperate. That night, after a long conversation, I convinced Chris and Rebecca Lynn needed psychiatric help. I told them about the bathroom closet. Shocked, they still thought it was weird, but not dangerous. Maybe for YouTube, Rebecca offered weakly. Chris said we should talk to her calmly and try to coax her in. I agreed, on one condition. I wasn't going alone. We drove over in daylight. No way I'd go at night. Her car was gone. The front door stood ajar. The smell hit first, rot. Curtains drawn tight. The house felt abandoned, like the walls were holding their breath. We searched room by room, calling her name. "Why are you looking under the couch?" Chris muttered. "Aren't we looking for your wife?" "Upstairs," I whispered. Glass crunched under our shoes on the stairs. One of our wedding portraits, crooked, glass gone, frame jagged. In the photo, outside the church, Lynn was radiant in white. I never thought her face would become a source of dread. The spare room, untouched. The bathroom,
unchanged since the night I fled. Chris suggested I pack a bag and go. In our bedroom closet, I found the smell's heart and gagged. Chris went pale and retreated to the hull. Laid out on the rug, soaked into fibers, were eyeballs, at least a dozen, arranged in pairs. Quarters to marbles in size, small animals. I stared at them and wondered how she'd taken them. The answer made me shudder. "Ben, your wife's collecting eyeballs," Chris gagged. "We should go." I shut the closet on the nightmare and stepped into the hall, tasting rot. Then the temperature seemed to drop. Someone was watching me. We had missed her. Lynn lay curled beneath our bed, facing the doorway, hands clasped beneath her chin and trembling with barely contained excitement, like a kid about to tear into presents. A soft, hiccuping sound leaked from her throat. Wide eyes, that huge, white, cracking smile. Every instinct screamed, "Run!" But this was my wife. I had to try. "Lynn," I said gently. Her head bobbed twice, tiny nods. "Baby, I just want to help, okay? Can you let me do that?" I took a careful step, like approaching a wild animal. "I love you, Lynn." Another step. Her shoulders shivered, her eyes swelled like moons. I crouched and saw the blood. It lacquered her hands, which vibrated harder as I neared. "Are you hurt? You're bleeding." Another bob. Fingers moved as if she were playing an invisible piano, occasionally brushing her chin and leaving red smears. The smell pouring off her was meat, sour and metallic. My stomach lurched. I slid closer and reached out. Her hiccuping picked up. Her fingers flexed. Blood glistened between them. "Oh my God, Lynn! You're bleeding!" I reached for her hand. She struck. A flare of pain seared my forearm. I fell back, bleeding onto the carpet. In her fist, a large shard of glass. She grinned, ecstatic. "Are you all right in there?" Chris called behind me. I nodded, without looking back, cradling my arm. When I faced her again, her eyes weren't on me anymore. The smile was gone. She was staring past me at Chris, like a lion sighting antelope. I backed down the hall, not daring to turn. "Are you bleeding?" Chris asked. At the sound, Lynn slid out from under the bed and rose in the doorway, glass dripping in red. Her body was coiled wire, her face twisted with rage. "Jesus, Lynn, you, playing hide and seek?" I pushed him toward the stairs. "Move, Chris." Lynn's head bobbed, fast, sharp. The smile returned and widened, wider, wider. Her jaw yawned so far it seemed her chin might touch her chest. Chris muttered a prayer and bolted. I hesitated, torn between love and survival. "I only want to help," I said, voice breaking. Her eyes pinned me. She raised the glass. And then she ran. My body chose for me. I flew down the steps, 2, 3 at a time. I was almost at the door when she leapt on my back, arms cinched around my throat, mouth open beside my ears so those terrible hiccuping sounds rattled through me. I threw her off. Pain scored my back as she went. I wrenched the door and exploded into daylight. Chris was in the yard with 911. I dove into my car. He followed, still on the line. I watched the rear view the whole way, expecting her to charge into the street. She didn't. At the ER, I got 11 stitches in my arm and 3 in my back. The police took statements and searched the house. She was gone. They told me to stay with someone and file a restraining order. I nodded, knowing how useless those words felt. I dropped Chris off and drove to a motel an hour away. Distance felt like the only safety left. I've been here about 4 hours. I hoped the police would find her and get her help. Then, 40 minutes ago, an unknown number texted 3 words. I found you. There was a photo attached, dark, grainy, but unmistakable. My wife's eye. I started typing this immediately. I don't know what to do. I'm alone. I'm scared, and I can't shake the feeling that even now I'm being watched.